It takes courage to stand up there and say. And when you're at a certain age, it takes a lot of courage. So I'm grateful for our young people. Well, the question is asked, what love got to do with it? Father God, thank you for giving me this word. Help me to articulate it in a way that it will be transformed. In Jesus' name. Little 3-year-old was out in the yard. She saw some little flowers, little yellow flowers and purple. She decided that she would go ahead and collect them and place them in her little hand. After she collected several of them, she ran into the house. Her mother was in the kitchen. And she, Mommy, 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 look. And as she opened up her hand, the little flowers were all shrunk. And she looked at her mommy and said, oh, Mommy, Mommy, I'm so sorry. I must have loved them too much. They all shrunk. Her mother looked down and held her hand and said, baby, it's okay. Because whatever you bring me, I know it's in love. 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 Tender love is the secret. Love those you are training. Love those who work with you. Love those who serve you. The Bible says, dwell on that thought that God is love. And then link it with what Jesus said. I and my Father are one. Dwell on Jesus' actions on earth. See in them love operation. Jesus could easily have just snapped his finger every time the Pharisees and scribes came before him. But he treated them in love. Even when they were so arrogant that they didn't even know what they were saying, he simply said, it's written. When the enemy came to him, he didn't argue, fuss, or fight. He said, it is written, man shall live by the word of God, not by the word. If it was God who so acted, then it was love. For God is love. Perfect love. Perform those actions. Whatever Jesus did, it was through love. Not only were those actions in love, but they were wonderful moments that they experienced in the love of Jesus. Could you imagine yourself being one of the 12? Walking around with Jesus every day, sleeping beside him, drinking water with him, eating at every meal, listening to him give you wisdom, giving you insight into what is going on, and then even giving you a peek into the future of what's going to happen. Not going to be with you always. But where I am, there you may be also. Because in my Father's house, there are many mansions. That's mine. I can't carry you now, but I'm coming back. When I come back, my reward is with me. You and I must put love into action in our life.
Amen.
God's love.
Amen.
Perfect love means perfect forgiveness.
Amen.
I heard it in the children's story. How many times? 7 times 70. That's 440 times. So I got to count now. Every time I forgive, I get. The Bible is very clear that we must have forgiving hearts. You can't have a forgiving heart if you're not loving.
Amen.
Because love promotes forgiveness. I must love my brother. I must love my sister. You see, that is where the whole bottom line is. That is, when we lack forgiveness, we really lack love.
Free.
I know we all heard the story. I love you. And we look forward to hear that phrase. I love you. It makes us feel good.
Amen.
But genuine love is an action verb.
Free.
You can say I love you. But when you live it,
Yes.
then the person, the individual knows that you love them. We come to church and we say we love the Lord.
Amen.
But if you read Amos, God says, you come with your gifts and your sacrifice and you say how much I love you, I can't stand you. Why? Because while you're loving me, you also got idols in your life. When you say you love me, but yet you don't love your brother.
Amen.
When you say you love me, means that you are really in love with me, meaning that I am in love with you to the point that my love that is within you helps permeate outside of you, and you can't help but touch others with love.
Free. Free.
My dear, dear spouse, birthday is very near. And she said to me, you know, as she was looking down, I think I get me a pedicure. And I said, it's your birthday coming up, baby, please. Go get your toes done. And I said, in fact, I think the Monday next after yours, I'm getting me a pedicure. I'm going to spoil my toes. In fact, she did it 2 years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago. She took me as a birthday gift and took me into the pedicure, and I sat there, and when I came out, I said, y'all been keeping this from us guys all this time. Get out of here. My feet real good. But I'm treadmill, and there's a call from my baby. Talking love. And she says, I just met a dog. I said, you just met a dog? Yes. And I can get him real cheap, too. I said, okay. So, I knew what that so meant. Can I get it? And I said to myself, if I say no, I'm in the doghouse. So I said, honey, if you think we can handle it and can afford it, you know it's an extra expense in our budget, you know, go ahead. But again, in my mindset was, it's a birthday gift. Well, I had to get myself together mentally. And I had to get myself totally prepared to meet this dog in my house. And I said, God, you know my attitude. You know where I am. And you got to help me. I walked into my house, and there he was. All up under her. That's good, because it's her dog. You catch my drift?
Yes.
But as time went along, I'm all around, I ain't paying much attention. Come on, my attitude. I said, God, give me one, but he didn't give me the right one. I didn't take on the right one. I said, God, you help me. So now he's coming up and he's, you know, sniffing, checking me out. Honey says, speak nicely, talk nicely. I'm trying my best. But it wasn't in my voice. And so it went on, and so I went and did a couple little things. In fact, I did took a couple hours to do whatever I had to do right around the house and stuff. I come back in the house, man, he's sitting over with her by the office desk, and he jumps up and boom. I said, hold up here, baby boy. It's my house. You can go. But he pulled himself together. Then it dawned on me. He was protecting.
Amen.
The one that took him in.
Amen.
And has been treating him okay so far. And as I watched the interaction, how she just moved in, he just got so comfortable. I could not help but think of the message that I wanted to preach. We get comfortable in this world when the devil strokes us. But we should never be comfortable when it's not God's hand touching. And just like the message last week, we find ourselves sometimes speaking out of discord rather than love. Because our mindset is always in the human realm.
Amen.
We think everybody's going to mistreat us. Everybody's not right. Everybody can't be right. And when they do us dirt, everybody is like that. We stereotype everyone, and we put everyone in the category. But God has said that we must love as He loves. So, when Honey said, "Could you take him for a walk?" my whole continent said, "No." It's your dog. But I got up, put on my sweater, I went and put my shoes on, and I said, "Okay, get here." He was happy as a lion. We walked up our street. He had to sniff everything. He did this and he did that, and he made his little mark known where he was, where he'd been. And then finally, he decided to go to the bathroom in somebody else's yard. I tried to. Anyway, we get back home. Now all of a sudden, wherever I go, who's behind me? My wife says, "You have a friend now." And I said, "Really?" Within our framework, we resist anything that we perceive not to be good.
Amen.
If we think it is a setup, we're already leery.
Amen.
If we think you're out to get something other than just saying kind words, our alarm system and our guard systems are already up.
That's right.
If someone you don't know walk up and say to you, "Hello, how are you? Hope you have a good day," you instantly go into,
Read.
"I don't know them."
Read.
But God has asked us to love as He loves. God has even said in His Word, God is love, so don't be judging. Romans chapter 2, Jesus says it very clearly through Paul's writing, that if we judge anybody, it's because we actually are judging ourselves. God even says, "How dare you to ask me to forgive you when you don't even forgive your brother?"
Read. Read.
See, again, it comes back to the fact that God has made it very clear that I must be emulating who He is.
Amen.
And while I'm emulating Him, it's not an act. It's real. It's factual. I do care when I say I I want the best for you.
Yes.
It's not afraid. When I say I'm praying for you, I'm serious. I pray for you
Yes.
every morning. I pray for you every night before I go to bed. I'm serious. Southwest Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist Church, every member. Lord, I don't know what they're going through, but right now you know. And I put them in your hand. Amen. And I go to sleep.
Yes.
It is us that are mankind here on earth that has to be God here on earth. I hope you understand. We must love. My wife and I was talking, we talked. But that's a good thing.
Amen.
We talk more now than we, anyway. But she said, Earl, if you want to get our church where God wants them to be, you got to talk about love. And I thought about it for a moment, but I've been preaching everything else with a little bit of something in it. But today, I'm talking about love. God desires worship that is not manufactured. Is not accompanied by social justice and moral living. God wants us to be just and to be righteous and to be real.
Amen.
You know, the toughest thing that we confront is when a church member look at you with a smile, but behind the smile is a sword. Does it reflect God? No. What does it reflect? Mankind. We've been killing each other since Cain killed Abel.
Amen.
He killed him with a weapon, but we kill each other with indifference. A lack of care,
Amen.
and a sense that I want your respect, so I respect you better. Jesus wants us to understand that I'm not alone. He wants us to sense that all of us are in this fight together. And that we're not battling by ourselves.
Amen.
We work together, we walk together, we pray together, we cry together, we sing together. Then why can't we live together? Burt Bacharach wrote a song that Dionne Warwick sang. What the world needs now is love. Sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of.
Amen.
I think the song goes on to say we don't need another mountain. don't need another ballot. What we need is love. There's love all in this room, but we got to let go of that love for one another.
Amen.
So that we understand that we do love each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing wrong when individuals interact more so than other individuals. That's the way it is. Some folk gravitate to us. When you saw Marva, you saw Vern. That's the way it is. When you see Junior, you see Juanita. That's the way it is. She got it. Like, but that doesn't stop you from loving one another.
Amen.
And loving others. Listen, my dear friend here from Jamaica, him visiting us.
Amen.
Me know where he's been. Because me been there too. I understand. I've been from Mobay to Portland. In between. But what I found out is they love just like I want to be loved. I understand. I know why Bob Marley sang his song. That he just gonna keep knocking on your door until you eventually let him in. He didn't want to wait in vain. But God has said to each and every one of us that love is the factor that ties all the bonds together. I look sometimes at Dallas and I instantly think about the little island that was destroyed by the hurricane. Those people didn't know what was coming down the pike, but I almost want to believe that there was a whole lot more love on that island than sometimes that we have here in our church. But yet, what should happen when I walk, should I drive up on the ground, is that the love should be so thick that I have to pull my pants so that it don't get wet from the love. That's what should be.
Amen.
And we're not going to get there until we surrender to God. It's not about leadership. It's not about who is, who's talking, who's not. Are you surrendered to God? Are you in love with Him to the point that you can't help but love me?
Amen. Amen.
I hate to say it that way, but that's the way it is.
Amen.
And when you love God, He pours out His love to you. He gives us the patience that we need because we are so impatient with one another. You know, we get the victory and we expect everybody else to have the victory too.
Free.
We don't. We forget that it took us 10 years to get the victory. But we expect everybody to have it the next week after I done told you about it.
You're preaching good, man.
God is love, so He gives us the power to love. How can you love me when you don't have God's love? See, we're so self-centered, so focused in on ourselves. Hey, come on. That's my little buddy right there, Mr. Alex. But I guarantee, if I gave Mr. Alex a toy that he loved, and then I reached to get it back, what are you going to do? Yeah. He going to say what? It's mine. We do the same thing. As adults. As adults. We're so focused in on us that we lose sight of anybody else.
Amen.
And then when God gives us a gift, come on. See, he and I understand. I don't possess her. God possesses her. But she's a gift to me. And I have to treat her like the precious gift he gave me. If I treat her like a possession, then I'm not loving her. To love is to treat everyone like a gift. A precious gift. So to have a friendship, a conversation, a dialogue, to talk, just to be warm and friendly and caring, it's only a gift. So that you in response can love as God loves. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Toughest thing that we have to let go of is self. It's so much a part of us that we know. Even when somebody's talking something good, our nose turn up because we don't want to hear it.
Amen.
Because it's still all about us. When God says that we must love as he loves. Why stand there and ask you for tithe and offering when you don't love God? There's no need of us doing stewardship here. What's the necessity of a stewardship leader when you don't love God? But when you love God, it's not your money anyway. Amen. Lord, here, take it. And yes, subconsciously, I know if I give it consciously, he's going to bless me, press down and run it over. Amen. Because it's about love. I wanted to say, yes, Pastor, you got to be bold. Ask for a lot of money. But then I said to myself, even if I ask it, do they really love God? Because if they don't love God, being bold ain't going to mean a thing. Because love is all about God. And since God is love, then I have to reflect that same love to each and every one of you. And you have to reflect it back to me. Amen. And if I have messed up somebody, or no. If I have ticked somebody off, please come and say, Pastor, amen. I forgive you. Because forgiveness is great for me. Forgiveness is better for you. For forgiveness is all about you. How can you walk around with the burden of an attitude and be for the rest of your life?